Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup. And it's the final team to get their preview. Yes, it's been a long time going through 20 teams. We are finally at the Washington Justice. So, what have we got here then? Washington Justice, obviously based in Washington, DC, USA. The team is owned by Washington Esports Ventures, a sports organization founded by Mark Ian, owner of Washington Castles of World Team Tennis. Okay. Whatever. Their organization is made up of Mark, obviously Mark Ian, the owner, Kate Mitchell, the assistant general manager, Wizard Hyung, who is head coach. He was part of the NYXL last season. Now that's a head if I saw one. Whew. Not bad to get him on your books. Just coming into the Overwatch League. Avala, who is assistant coach. MKL, who is a coach / an analyst. Aaron, who is an American coach. Obasil, who is a Canadian coach. Shrugger, who is an American coach. So a very interesting mix with like Korean, American, a dash of Canada, and a spice of Norway. But interesting coaching lineup. Then we come to the roster for Washington. Washington have Janus on main tank. He was the second backup tank, for NYXL last season, and really didn't impress, did he? Let's be honest. Yes, NYXL did very well, but most of the time Janus wasn't playing. So, yeah, that's awkward. Decent, not brilliant. Next up we have Corey, who is a DPS. They have signed Corey from the Gladiators Legion. Gladiators Legion are like they're the LA Gladiators contenders team in NA. They're decent, but not mind-blowing. That's all I can say really. Decent, not blown away. Yeah, see where this is going. Kind of see where this is going? Yeah. Next up we have Stratus. Stratus is an American DPS player. He was playing for NRG Esports before he joined Washington in NA Contenders. NRG Esports, bit better than Gladiators Legion. Still not perfect, but again, a decent signing. He's a Pharah Genji Tracer player. A decent signing. He has alternative IDs, and one of them is Toilet Man. So yeah, lovely. Next up we have San Sam. He is from South Korea. Interesting. Interesting. And he comes from JNATHYN. Oh, he's Flex Tank who plays Diva Zarya, coming from JNATHYN. JNATHYN's track record in Contenders Korea is meh, is how I would describe it. They squeezed through Season 1 trials, failed in Season 1, didn't get through in Season 2 trials, and got relegated to the Open Division in Season 3 where they didn't get through. Yeah. Decent? Not brilliant. Next up we have Ado, who is a DPS player on the Washington Justice. You might recognise his name. He played for the Shanghai Dragons last season. Oh. He plays Genji and Tracer, as we know. Yeah. Decent? Not fantastic. Next up we have Phazix. Played for NRG Esports before joining Washington. He is a support player who plays Ana and Zenyatta. Again, decent. Good player. NRG are decent in NA Contenders, but nothing really to blow the doors off. Next up we have Guido. Guido you might recognise from the Seoul Dynasty. Now this is a bit different. Guido is a support, plays as Zenyatta, can also dash a bit of Tracer out if he needs to. He was, second string for Seoul last season. He does have a decent record because he goes back to like the days of Lunatic High, but I would say he's one of the better players on this roster. And he finished 8th with Seoul last season. Yeah, it's going that way. Then last we have Hayuno. I don't know whether I've got that right or not. Another support player, plays Mercy and Lucio. And played for Metabellum and World Game Star H2 before joining Washington. Contenders career. Metabellum did decently in Season 1. They went through the trials, got through the trials, and then got to the semi-finals of the Contenders career Season 1. And then he went to World Game Star H2 and really didn't do much there in Season 2 of Korean Contenders. Yeah. And that rounds us off for Washington. So, what can I say? Their first 3 games are against New York Excelsior, London Spitfire and Philadelphia Fusion. Oh boy. And then they have to play San Francisco Shock, Seoul and Paris. Yeah, I think after 6 games I think they might be 0-6. I know I'm being quite harsh sounding here, and sorry to Washington Justice fans. The roster is nothing to write home about. It's a lot of bit parts from decent NA Contenders players to very meh run-of-the-mill Korean Contenders, not really done too much in their history players, to tried and failed Overwatch League players. Yeah, this my prediction for Washington is a struggle to get to the playoffs, even if they're anywhere near it. We could be looking at a Shanghai. The thing is, we didn't call Shanghai last season, did we? Washington might spring something out of the bag, and it will be a great credit to their coaching staff if they do, because these players are not what we would expect to be brilliant players and right up there in the playoffs. So if the coaches of Washington Justice get something out of these players, then that's fantastic coaching from them. And we don't forget, Wizard Hyung was with NYXL last season. So the coaches are there. We'll just see if they can get anything out of these players, because the players, unfortunately, compared to all the other teams in the league, the improved teams from last season and the new teams coming into the league, I would say by far Washington are the worst looking team coming into the league, and I don't see much in terms of positives. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just doesn't honestly look too brilliant, this roster. And it's the first time really I've really slammed a roster, to be quite honest. The 3 rosters I've kind of gone to town on in this series is Washington, Boston and Chengdu. That's the 3 rosters I think that stand out that are not up to scratch. Oh, and Florida. Perhaps. But I think even Florida are slightly better than this now. Yeah, there's not really much to say about Washington Justice. They play in... what is that colour? It's not burgundy. It's like a pinky red colour. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. You'll see it on your screen anyway. A white and a blue. Obviously the colours of the US, because it's Washington. Maybe, just maybe. Yeah, I don't expect anything special from the Washington Justice, but maybe, just maybe, they might surprise us. But with the standard of new Korean talent coming into the Overwatch League this season, the current American and European talent in the Overwatch League, the added European talent from Paris, and the current talent that was already in the Overwatch League, I really don't see Washington being able to compete too much with the rest of the higher teams. And when I mean higher teams, I mean everyone but Chengdu, Florida, and Boston. That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay, so that's enough for me trashing Washington, because that's really pretty much what I've done all video. And I do apologize, but this is my own opinion on their roster, and it really doesn't stand out to me. That concludes our preview series for the whole of the league, all of the teams. So what can we take away from this? A very interesting team coming into the league in Vancouver, some other really interesting mid-table teams coming in, and then perhaps table proppers, not mentioning anyone. Very interesting. Looks like the league is going to be a lot more competitive this season than it was last season. I would hope that because of the additional South Korean talent coming into the league, plus the improvement of the American talent, we will see New York Excelsior reeled in from their spot on high, because they did dominate the standings last season. And then the playoffs is anyone's guess. Who would have thought we would have had a final of the grand finals between the 5th and 6th place team? We probably would have never have dreamt of that before the grand final started, when we saw the top 6 teams in New York Excelsior, Boston Uprising, London Spitfire. Am I getting this right? New York Excelsior, Boston Uprising, London Spitfire, LA Gladiators, LA Valiant, and Philadelphia Fusion. We wouldn't have expected the 5th and 6th teams to be where they were, and it will be interesting. But that's enough for this video. The next video will be my personal power rankings for this season. Yeah. I have a start, but I don't have a finish to that, to be quite honest. The top is going to be very, very difficult to tell, especially between those 3 teams, Vancouver, London, and NYXL, and maybe even a dash of Seoul if they get themselves together. But that will be a power rankings video, and then we will get our preview for week 1 of stage 1 of the Overwatch League 2019 on the channel, and we will look ahead at the fixtures for that week, which should be really interesting. And remember, those videos will be slightly longer compared to last season because there are more fixtures to go through. Yeah. And I haven't actually worked out a proper day to bring that out yet, and I kind of want to nail it on a day so people know when to come to the channel. If they purely want the Overwatch League content, I would like you to see my other content, but if you purely come for the Overwatch League, that is up to you. So, that rounds it off for the Washington Justice. Nothing special, but maybe they might surprise us. Next up is the power rankings, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then!